Dragonites. Happy Thursday, everybody. Well, for starters, we are going to spin this wheel because those of you who wanted the Michael Myers canvas are getting a second chance at it. The winning person had until Wednesday to get in touch with me. Never heard a word from her. So sorry, AMBZK10, but you are no longer the winner of this canvas. So the rest of you get an extra opportunity. So I think, you guys see this? I think so. So let's give it a spin. Good luck, everybody. So the new winner of the canvas is Roxanne Samuscott. Congratulations, Roxanne. Do get in touch with me and confirm you still want it. And if so, I will get in touch with you and arrange to get that to you. Congratulations. Okay, everyone. So, whipping and chatting. Let's do that. Hope everybody is having a good October. It's been a very, very busy couple of months for me. I think this will be, I say that now, tongue-in-cheek. I think this is going to be the last month. Things are kind of crazy, at least I'm hoping so. There's a possibility that might not be true, but you know, I'm crossing my fingers because I hate it when things are complicated and back to back and take forever, or they have everything due at once. I mean, you know, it's just one of those things. All right, I'm going to be working on my canvas. As you can see, I've been working on this one. This is one of my October canvases for breast cancer awareness. So, which is, you know, a pink canvas. And hopefully it's going to look like this when I'm finished, if I don't screw anything up. So yeah, can you see why I like it? I bet you can tell why. All right, so we will get on with that and we'll have a little chat. How's everybody's month shaping up? I know it's fairly early. We're only, you know, what, almost 10 days in. So, you know, if it's a little bit weird, that's okay. It can be weird. It's early yet. You'll get it out, straightened out. Hopefully I have posted just recently, like in the last 15 minutes or so, I posted the final whip parade with everybody's completions or close to completions. So if you haven't seen it yet, please take a minute and enjoy that. And if you have seen it, I hope you liked it. All right. I also want to start out with reading off the people that are signed up for Luna and Lycans, which is coming up next month in November. Now, remember, it's any canvas that is 30 by 30 or larger. If you're doing a canvas, if you're doing off-canvas projects or mini canvases, you need to do the whole set or make an attempt to get the whole set finished as your canvas to equal your 30 by 30. But any canvas with a moon on it in any phase, anywhere on it, or a wolf, any kind of wolf, pack of wolves, wolf pups, werewolves, dire wolves, whatever your wolf thing is, any of those qualify. If you need additional information on what qualifies, I do have it listed in the community post area of the channel. So you can scoot on over to that tab and there's a list of the events and what qualifies. So here are the people signed up for Luna and Lycans. Margie Grice, Crafty Chef Diamond, Nuck and Futz, Mike Weeks, Diamond Art Joy, Joanne Arnold, Victoria Dodd, Scarlett's Little Crafty Corner, Snuggy's Crafting Corner, True Vampire Crafts, Guyleen Harold. Guyleen, please let me know if you're still interested. I know you were moving and had stuff going on, so let me know. Diamond Painting with Jack, Jennifer Parker, Roxanne Samuscott, Matt Smaracek, Missy Nelson, Sugar Ray Crafts, Master of Jedi, Sedona LeBlanc, Kathy Reynolds, Cubic Z Painter, Corinne Robinson, Sat Merben, Pamela Headings, Corinne Richardson, and Judy Pina. Those are all the people that are participating at the moment for Luna and Lycans. You have until October 25th to sign up. So if you still want to be in the event and you haven't signed up, get on that, because I would like anybody who wants to participate to be able to. So please do remember, October 25th is your cutoff. There will be a couple of giveaways during that time, possibly a few giveaways. I need to get in touch with True Vampire Crafts and find out some stuff, but there'll be at least a couple. Please make sure that you do get on there and get registered to be on it if you would like to. It's very loose. Do you have to have a new start? No, you do not. If you are, 50% or less finished of something and you would like to complete it, you're welcome to do that if it fits the theme. You do not have to complete your canvas or item for the event. So if you want to, start something new and it's, oh my God, by Jesus sized, then that's okay. You don't have to finish it. You'll notice in the completion parade of the whips, you'll notice that there are, a few people who did not complete theirs by the cutoff, and that's perfectly fine. Not a taskmaster, really. So it's very relaxed. We're just going to paint and have a good time. Also, I neglect to tell you this. I don't know. It doesn't compute for whatever reason. I guess because I don't think it's necessary. But YouTube affiliates, and anybody ensconced by YouTube is not part and parcel of prize giveaways. That's strictly me, myself, and I, just the three of us, that participate in that. And I do it just because I like to, because isn't it fun to win free stuff? I mean, I think it's cool. You don't have to participate if you don't want to win anything and you want to just paint along. Perfectly fine. You let me know and I will leave your name off the wheel and it's no problem. So that's that. Okay. If I get an opportunity to show you what some of the prizes will be before the event starts, I will do that. If not, it'll be shortly after the beginning, probably that first week of November. So now we are going to be having Thanksgiving during that time. So if you're going away or something, plan ahead. And again, if you don't complete your canvas, it's not a big deal. You can, certainly take your time. I will be home for Thanksgiving because my kids can't come from where they live. So it's just Neil and Jared and I, and the pets. So I'll be around. So you'll probably see the Whip and Chat, probably the Black Friday or thereabouts for that week. So no problem. Okay, if you have any more questions, you know how to get a hold of me. I always have the email and the Instagram in the description box. So you can always leave a comment here or email me and we can go to town and talk about it and life will be good. Okay, so, what's been happening? Well, so, you guys that have been with the channel for, any length of time are already aware that for the last 3 very long years, we have been trying to get help to get our roof taken care of. So we have not had a lot of luck with that. A lot of passing of the buck, not a lot of, sure, let us see what we can do to help. So finally, out of desperation, since Neil is a retired veteran, we finally did go to the VA. We had gone to Human Services Agency a while before, and yeah, there was no help there. Well, all of a sudden, I don't know if it was the VA or somewhere that Neil does business with. I don't really know. But for the third time in 18 months, Adult Protective Services came out. So I don't know what he said, what he did, where he went. But anyway, they were concerned he wasn't able to take care of himself, this poor little elderly man. And that always annoys me because I don't know who's turning him in. But when they come out here, they expect to see this, this poor little old man with, beginning stage dementia, Lewy body dementia, just living by himself and, poor little thing and can't remember to bathe. I mean, just all this stuff. And it's like, hello, what am I, chopped liver? They never know that he's married to somebody. They always think he's just by himself. I don't know, I don't know what that is. And that's why I'm saying I don't know who did it. I mean, they know, but they won't tell you because they're instructed not to do that. Because most people, mandated reporters, don't want it to be known that it's them. I find that ridiculous and stupid. And, if I'm going to report somebody and cause them grief in their life, I'm going to let them know that I have to make this report, and I'm going to let you know in advance, have your paperwork and everything ready to go, because you're going to get a knock on the door unannounced and at their will. So, because guess what? I've been a mandated reporter. When I was a court-appointed special advocate for my county working with foster children, I was a mandated reporter. So, yeah, I don't think you have any business causing grief to someone just because, the law says I have to, which really all that does is give people an excuse when they're not supposed to just do it. I mean, they're supposed to have, well, here's how the statute is written. If anyone else would suspect there might be some level of abuse going on based on the information that you have, then you are mandated to make a report. And you know what happens? Nothing. But they scare people by saying, well, if you don't report, it's pretty horrendous. And they do that on purpose. They want to incentivize people to narc on everyone else. Okay, well, that's fine. But basically, and I think the word is if it's, if you have a suspicion, or if anyone else, not affiliated with the situation would have that same suspicion, based on what you have seen and the reason you're reporting, then you have to make a report. Okay, that doesn't mean you're supposed to leave your common sense outside the box. You know what I mean? Like, you're supposed to, do some investigation. Okay. Now, again, I was working with foster children. So if I was really concerned, and I was only really concerned probably twice in the 6 years that I was a CASA, I asked the county, because most all of the kids in foster care have some kind of county service. So I would ask the people that dealt with them, whether that was a therapist, whether that was the WIC program, whoever it was, I would identify myself and say, hey, I've noticed, this mark or that mark, and the explanation of how it occurred doesn't really seem to fit the mark. And can you tell me if you've ever been concerned? Have you ever noticed any unusual marks that really weren't explainable? I mean, what is your relationship with this situation before ever involving the family? For a couple of reasons. Number one, the reality is, if you are reporting a foster family, or even a family whose child, was returned to them from the foster care system, or, maybe they've just been assigned to human services, and so they've got a new social worker working with them. Okay, the reality is that causes a lot of tension and angst and stress on a situation that might already be precarious. So before you do that and you add to somebody's misery, you need to make sure that you should actually be making this report. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. Let me put it to you that way. So, and it doesn't take that much to make a phone call and ask some questions. Okay. So, and like I said, I always made a point of saying, I know that I'm a mandated reporter, and I have to make this report because it's, I'm responsible for making it. So what I need you to do is make sure that you're keeping notes and dating and time stamping the notes and have them available at your hand as soon as somebody arrives. I'm really sorry, but I don't have any choice in the matter. I have to do that in order to continue to have this position with the kids. So yeah, now they can order me to leave if they want to, and that's fine. They're welcome to do that. They can get angry about it. They can feel betrayed. All of that's very normal. What I don't think is okay, though, is for you to report something that could very well be harmful and really stress out an already stressed situation and cause this family unbelievable pain. And then they never allow anybody near them again, which doesn't benefit whoever you're concerned about to begin with. And not even bother to give your name. If you're sure that you're doing the right thing, even if you're wrong, if it turns out that, well, it kind of was a really ridiculous explanation, but yeah, it fits and we're not concerned, great, thank you. I mean, it's just that simple, unless you're on the other end of it. So yeah, that's, my position, and it infuriates me when they think they can come, remember, they're going to show up unannounced. So if some of the members are sitting around in underwear of the family, or they're, in the bathtub, or somebody just spilled a bowl of spaghetti on somebody else, yeah, they're going to come to the door and they're going to see all of it. And really they should make an appointment, but they don't, because they're trying to see what's going on. Okay. So all of that being said, this woman comes at 9:30 in the morning and does what I call law enforcement knocking, which if you've ever had law enforcement come to your door, you know what I'm talking. The bang, 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 the 3 knocks, very, very loud and very, very obnoxious, and then they'll wait, and then they'll do it again. Bang, 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 if you don't answer the door. It's kind of it's a whole thing. Or it takes you a minute to get to the door, like in our case, which is fine. So, they came in, Neil's in his robe, right? I'm halfway dressed. And I'm like, it's like, are you expecting someone? No, I'm not. I said, me either. Next thing I know, I said, okay, well, go ahead and answer the door and, and close it because I'm getting dressed. And he comes in. Sorry, guys. Jared's staff person was just arriving. They're going to Universal Studios tonight with the whole group. So, yeah, had to exchange info. Anyways, so, yeah. So, Adult Protective Services paid us a visit. Hi. After he opened the door and he closed the door for me, I heard knock, knock, knock. I'm like, what is it? And he goes, yeah, it's a social worker from HSA. I said, I'll be right there. So I thought, oh, okay, you want to help? Okay. So, finished getting dressed, came out. She talked to Neil a little bit, and she talked to me, and she's like, who are you? And I said, I'm his spouse. And she said, oh, well, I didn't know he had a spouse. I said, I know the last 2 people from your agency said the same thing. Could somebody maybe make a note in the computer? How about? So we got to talking, and, we answered everything, and I said, well, I got annoyed because she said, could we put the dogs somewhere, maybe put them in the bedroom or something? And I said, no, we can't, because they live here and you don't. And she looked at me and I said, oh, I'm sorry. If you had made an appointment to come out here, then yes, that would have already been taken care of. But when you show up unannounced, you get what you get. Because I don't like it, and I was pissed about it. Okay. She goes, oh, well, I just wanted to be able to hear. I said, I'll reiterate for you if you can't hear something he says. And so anyway, she talked. She asked us a bunch of questions. I answered her. He answered her. She realized, they didn't need to waste time coming out here to give us a bunch of shit. However, she did say, well, is there anything, that you guys need help with? I said, well, actually, yes. If you look over your head to the left, you'll see that huge line of mold. Yeah, that's our roof caving in. She goes, oh my goodness. She takes a picture of it. She goes, well, is it anywhere else? I said, oh, sure. Would you like the tour? She goes, well, yeah, okay. So I showed her all the areas where the water damage had already happened, what they had told us, how much they expected. And she goes, oh, well, she goes, well, yeah, I mean, she said, this is a matter of some urgency because you're breathing black mold. And she's like, have any of you had any repercussions? I said, yep, sure have. I said, all of us have a compromised respiratory system for different reasons. She goes, oh, all of you. She goes, is there another? I said, oh, yes. Our adult disabled son lives here. He is a Tri-County Regional Center client. So, yeah, it's bad. She goes, well, did you tell everyone that you talked to? I said, oh, I sure did. Multiple times. Well, have you talked to? I said, you know what? Can I just give you the list? This might save some time because we have 3 pages on a legal pad full of every place we have checked to try to get some help. She looked at it and she goes, oh my goodness. She's like, wow, I mean, these are all the places I would have recommended and there's some here I've never even heard of. I said, We knew we had run the gambit when they started recommending phone numbers we've already tried. We knew we had tried just about everybody. So I said, she goes, well, none of these places? I said, nope. She goes, not even Habitat for Humanity? And I said, no, and we had them out here 3 separate times. And, 6 months apart. And she's like, oh my goodness. She goes, well, this is crazy. I mean, you're breathing in mold. I said, yeah, we have been for 3 years. And she said, well, I mean, I can't believe this. I said, you can't believe it. I said, this man is a 20-year veteran who was in the military from Vietnam to Desert Storm. Don't hurt yourself. Yes, it was 20 years. And he's about to be homeless along with his disabled wife and their intellectually disabled son. And guess what? Nobody has seemed to care. I said, we wanted to refinance. That was the plan. And because we haven't more than enough equity in order to fix everything. And she goes, oh, well then what happened? I said, what happened? Well, unfortunately, we didn't have enough income to be a good enough risk when they added the percentage rate. So that kicked us out of the running for our own home. So yeah, that's where we are with that. And so, yeah, so we have recently gone to the VA. They're doing what they can, but they recommended we call your agency. So thanks for saving us a call. Yeah, here's what we need. And I showed her everything. I showed her the estimates we'd gotten. And she goes, well, let me see what I can do. I mean, she said, I find this ridiculous. I said, you find it ridiculous? We have to have a wing and a prayer every time it rains. Every time there's rain in the forecast, we wonder, is this the time that the ceiling is going to cave in? Is this it? Because, yeah, that'll be fun. She goes, well, what is the plan? I said, there isn't a plan. That's what I'm trying to tell you. She goes, well, do you have any family? I said, no. I said, he has a sister he doesn't speak to. That's in the San Fernando Valley. And I said, we have kids in Washington. We have kids in Texas, and we have kids in Florida, none of which are able to take 3 of us on. So, yeah, there's no plan. And she just went, and I said, yeah. She goes, I can't imagine the level of frustration. I said, no, you cannot imagine the level of frustration at all. So, yeah, it's a lot. So, she said, well, okay, let me make some calls. She said, she would get back to us. We said, okay. I said, would you like some coffee? Oh, no, I'm fine, thank you. Okay. So she finally left, and Neil's like, he just shook his head. He goes, I don't know why they keep coming out. I said, because whatever, so you're either saying or doing something that's concerning them, Neil. So whatever you're doing when you're out by yourself, you know, whatever it is, I hope that you stop doing it. Or maybe you shouldn't be out by yourself and you should only go when we can both go. Because lately he's been fixated on driving the car, which bothers me because I don't really think he should be driving. And I'm hoping that his neurologist will say, yeah, you need to rein that back in. So, but yeah, he's not going to ever be cooperative because he's, you know, as much as nobody likes to have their independence, you know, limited at any time. Oh, military retirees are the worst. Let me just say that. So anyway, that whole thing's a work in progress. So we told her that. We gave her the phone number of the social worker at the VA that we've been working with so they could talk and get coordinated. So she called us a day or two later and said, can you get 2 more estimates? I said, in addition to the 2 we already gave you? Well, yeah, because one of them is, you know, 2 years old, and so we want something more recent. Oh, okay. So we've done that. We got the 2 more estimates, you know, around the same price of the ones we'd already had done. So we're waiting for the written estimate to come through from the 2 places, and then we get back in touch with her, and hopefully something will come of it. You know, guys, I don't know. You get to a point where you're just like, enough. Like, I am just done with this stupid stuff. I can't even, because life has to go on. It's like, you know, we can't just stop every time there's rain in the forecast. I mean, that's not how life works. But yeah, we do have to have some mild panic when there is going to be precipitation going. Please don't let this be the time it falls in. Please don't let this be the time it falls in. And it gets really old. It really does. So anyway, so we've been dealing with that. Neil's been getting these infusions for one of the medications that is supposed to arrest the dementia where it is, or not really arrest it, but keep it from progressing as fast as it normally would. And he's had 4 infusions now, and that seems to be, he's handling it really well. And he had to have an MRI before his next infusion, which is actually tomorrow. So we went yesterday so that we could see the neurologist. And unfortunately, we only got to see her PA, which annoyed me because I wanted to speak to the neurologist. But I guess we'll be seeing the neurologist the next time. But we had to go for the MRI because one of the things that can happen with this medication is he could get brain bleeds. And if that were happening, then he would have to stop having the infusions, and then it would have to just progress as it normally would. If it was okay and that wasn't happening, then he will have treatments for about 18 months. And that will be the extent of the treatment, and then hopefully that will help us kind of keep it from, you know, progressing and really becoming terrible. But in the meantime, we wanted to, as soon as we found that out, we made the appointment with the VA, got him sort of reintegrated into the VA, because once he retired, he was more or less, you know, using the private sector, but you have to use VA services and doctors if you're going to try to get some help. And we decided we really need to, because we really aren't capable of doing, you know, like cleaning the floors and stuff. Anything that requires bending over is something that actually none of us can do. Jared has Harrington rods on his back because he's had scoliosis, and therefore he's had back surgery. So yeah, his range of motion, you know, is kind of limited. Not as limited as ours, but pretty close. Yeah, Neil, you know, he's got trouble with his back. I have trouble with my back. None of us are, you know, in a position even to put on our own sheets. Takes all of us. Takes the 3 of us for each bed to try to put the sheets on, because you know, it's just that bending at that particular angle is the worst spot for all of us, which is kind of interesting. Anyway, so that was the whole thing. So, you know, we were kind of crossing our fingers because I don't know. He said that he's feeling really good, and I haven't seen any what I would call acute symptoms, things that were getting worse. And that's been nice because for a while there, you know, it was almost weekly. I was seeing that there's, you know, another issue coming up, and I thought, man, this is moving way too fast, and it was very disconcerting for all of us. But yeah, I was especially worried. And so we went there, saw the PA. She confirmed that everything looks good. There's not even, you know, there's no leaks anyplace. So that was good. His blood vessels are in good shape. That was really good too. So he's going to be continuing. So we go Friday, and then he'll go about every 2 weeks for the next 18 months. So that's what's been happening, but just trying to get all of that coordinated. Oh my God. And whenever they can squeeze you into these places, because we can't, you know, when you go to the VA, you're on their time frame, they're not on yours. And, you know, we've been a little bit concerned about dealing with some of these agencies, especially given the current political environment, because everybody is messing around with their funding. A lot of places are losing it. A lot of veterans that need services aren't getting them. And so this was not a good time, but we were really at wit's end. We had nowhere else to try. We had tried them all that we knew of. So at least now they're making an effort. So I'm really thankful, and I'm crossing my fingers that I'm hoping that we may get some help, and maybe we won't have a massive flood come through our home, and then that's the end of it. So cross your fingers. Hopefully that's going to be going on. So that's been taking up a lot of time, just getting back and forth to, you know, to the doctors and the whole thing. I mean, that's just been a lot. So, that's been happening. Trying to keep an eye on Jared's services and what's been happening with the agency that provides his staff people. And, you know, if the government doesn't reopen by next month, then, you know, we will all be affected again, because, you know, 2 out of 3 of us have Social Security as, you know, one of the biggest sources of income. And so without that, we are in really bad shape. So cross your fingers that these people who make too much money that we elect to do a job actually do it, and things get back to what it should be. So that's been happening also. So yeah, just keeping on top of stuff can be very draining. So that's happening. The animals are doing well. I did get costumes, so be on the lookout for a video before Halloween. Everybody's Halloween costumes for the dragons are in. I'm not sure about the dogs. I'm still trying to debate what to do with them. But all the dragons have a costume, and so I'll be doing a video and putting that out around Halloween, so you guys can see how utterly adorable they are, and they are, let's face it. But yeah, everybody's good. Finn's taking his medicine reluctantly, but he's taking that every day. And, you know, Claire is still enormous, has never laid an egg, and is doing some very interesting types of behavior, but she's doing okay. I mean, she's eating, she's drinking, she's pooping, she's doing all the stuff she's supposed to do. She's just got some interesting behavior. Merlin still isn't interested in eating. He still thinks it's mating season. I'm like, come on, dude. So today I did manage to get him to eat 4 worms. So I'll take it. It's not anywhere near his norm, but I'll take it. And Ruby's living her best life, since she doesn't have to worry about all this hormonal stuff, since she was spayed last year, since she had some abnormal tissue. So yeah, everybody's doing really well in that regard. So, and I'm just waiting for fall weather to get here. It's getting here little by little, really little by little. But, you know, it's trying to get here. Let me just say that. It's working on it. So, Yay. Trying to get into the Halloween season. I'm trying to force fall to get here, you guys. I'm really trying hard. So hopefully it will. We're only 76 degrees today instead of being in the 80s like we've been the last couple weeks. So I'm hoping that's a trend and that's going to start being a little cooler. The nights are cooling down, so that's been good. Now if we could just get the days to cool a little bit more, life would be perfecto around here. So that's happening. Can't believe how close we are. We're already in October, you guys. Do you realize how few shopping days we have till Christmas? Oh, so trying to get that started. That's a whole thing. Trying to send stuff to my grandbabies that are in Texas and Florida from California. This, I mean, seriously, you spend as much in shipping as you do in the actual gifts. I mean, I try to let, companies that will ship to an address that's not your same billing address do most of it for me because it's so expensive, but it's hard to find them all the time. And then you finally find something and you like it and they go, sorry, we can't guarantee it's going to be there. And you're like, really? So, all those little interesting challenges that come with the holidays. Saw my brother for the first time, I think, since last Christmas. He came down. He's an estate planning attorney, and we've been sort of bantering back and forth about our estate planning. We finally, really had a heart-to-heart and decided we need to just get it done. If something happens to us or we die in an accident or one of us dies and the other one has to figure out what to do, we need to make that as easy as possible. I needed to also have an opportunity to assign a guardian for Jared if anything happens to me. And so, we just needed to do it. So we did everything, including Jared's. So it's a relief. I wouldn't say, I didn't like it. Okay. Let me just say that right up front. I did not enjoy doing the end of life type stuff because, who likes to think about that? Nobody. But I also do not want to do to my kids what, my friend Lisa did to me and to her stepson. And a lot of like what happened to my dad and to me and, deciding who's going to make decisions on our behalf. So we took care of it and it's done, and then it's a relief. I'm kind of glad that is now the case, but ick, no fun whatsoever, but a lot less fun for whoever you leave behind if you don't have something in down, like what is the plan for this. So it was all taken care of. We got our advance directives done, and I don't know. I'm feeling relieved because, you never know. And sometimes you wait too long and then it's a problem. So that all happened. So I'm really glad. Now all the people that wanted copies of everything, including the VA and our doctors wanted a copy of our advance directives. So now everybody has them. Here you go. Thank you. So, that's been a lot of the grief here and there, trying to figure out, okay, well, what's going to happen with this? What's going to happen with that? Now, I'm still going to have to get conservatorship over Neil at some point, which he's going to fight whenever that is. But his neurologist feels like I should do that sooner rather than later because she feels that he's not very compliant with his treatment, which is true. But I don't think that, me trying to tell him is going to make him any more compliant. But okay. But that's, it's a ton of work. It's a ton of forms. It's a ton of money. It's just, awful. There's no way around it. It's awful. My brother helped me when I was getting conservatorship over Jared. He has not helped me to get it with Neil. He's kind of in the midst of his own level of hell because his mother-in-law, who has been in skilled nursing, was sent back to the hospital last weekend. They thought she'd had a stroke or an aneurysm or heart attack, and she was very disoriented. And so her daughter was there visiting her, so they decided, she called my sister-in-law and said, listen, something's really not right. So she called their mom's doctor, and he said, yeah, take her to the hospital. So they went, and she had been there a couple days when my brother came by. And so got that taken care of too, and he's, trying to keep his wife afloat, and she's a mess, and, none of that fun stuff for sure. So, didn't hold it against him, but sure makes it complicated for me. I'm trying to get through all this, and I'm trying to deal with the self-help clinic, and it's just, me and several hundred other people. So, and this is not the year I wanted to do any of this, but some things you don't have a choice over, and the older you get, the less choice you have. Remember that. So, now, at the least opportune time, when I have to figure some stuff out and get it taken care of. So, anyway, all of that being said, you can see probably why I haven't been around much this last couple weeks. But like I said, I'm hoping that this is the last month where things are really difficult. Now, that doesn't mean it will be, but because I have one of those kind of lives. So, maybe it'll be okay. Maybe it will be complicated till the end of the year and after. I don't know, but cross your fingers. I'm going to try to get, better about checking in with you guys as often as I can. So, yeah. Okay, so enough of that. You guys ready for the Great Pumpkin for Halloween? Are you guys dressing up? If you're dressing up, you have to tell me the costume. Whether you're going out to something or if you're just handing out candy, but you're dressing up to do it. Oh, you have to tell me what it is you're doing, because I love Halloween. I really, really do. And I am going to be getting my completions for September out here. I think you've probably seen most of them, but anyway, I'll be getting them out here. And we will go onward toward November. So, do you have your canvas already for Luna and Lycans? Because I think it's going to be fun. I also wanted to remind you for next year, just so you can make a mental note or write it down, make a physical note, whatever you'd like. April 1st to the 30th is Walk Like an Egyptian. That's our Egyptian-themed canvases. June 1st to the 30th will be Purple Haze, any canvas that's predominantly purple. August 1st to the 31st of 2026 will be Zodiac, American or Chinese. And November 1st to the 30th of 2026 is going to be Fairies, Pixies, and Gnomes, oh my. So that's what's coming up. That is also posted on the community tab. So if you want to check it out or copy it or print it or whatever you want, it's out there. What else? What else is happening? I don't think too much more. We have been more or less okay health-wise. I've been trying to catch up on some vaccines. So everybody's had the COVID vaccine. Everybody has had flu shots. Now I've had one of two of the shingles vaccines. Those suckers hurt, man. My arm was sore the whole week. I was like, really? Can't we do better than this? What's going on? So now I have to have the other one at the end of November. Yeesh. Not looking forward to it, but at least then I'm finished. I don't need any more. Oh, and I had the Novwmbwr vaccine last year, so that one's already on board. So, doing what I can to stay as well as possible, because this whole healthcare thing, who knows? Who knows? There's way too much idiocy happening. Yeah, it's hard to believe that people who get free health care have the audacity to take it away from the rest of us who are working our fingers to the bone. Really? Yeah, so anyway, just watching that issue occur and see what happens there. So, yeah. What else is going on? Yeah, I'm trying to find out. My brother's mother-in-law is a good friend of mine. I like her a lot. And we've been friends for a lot of years. So I'm really bummed about what's happening with her. She's had multiple strokes and she's had multiple heart attacks. She's had TIAs. Yeah, she even died once when she was in Hawaii on vacation with a friend of hers who happens to be a CNA and just happened to notice that her breathing sounded kind of funny while she was sleeping, and called her name a couple of times, and when she didn't respond, that person whipped into action and started doing CPR and called the ambulance. And they brought her, so then she was in a hospital in Hawaii and they had put in a new stent and kept her there for a week, and then sent her home to see her own doctor, and I don't know, they did some other kind of thing, and now they have her on a permanent monitor, and they have her on oh man, they have her on one of those defibrillators that's inside the chest. Yeah, I do not want one of those. I've decided, man, because you can't just go peacefully and your heart just stop. No, because if it starts to do that, it will knock you into the next room, literally, if it needs to try to get your heart into a rhythm it's trying to give up on. So yeah, I don't think so. I'm going to pass on that. But yeah, she has one. So, they can get a readout anytime. They just turn on the machine to whatever frequency her defibrillator is on, and they can print out an EKG literally over the phone anytime, which I think is kind of fantastic if you want to know the truth. So that's happening. And thank you very much, Dragonites, for going over and saying hi to Desiree, your fellow Dragonite who's been in the hospital. She got to go home, so yay. She went home on critical care because they're waiting for the results of the biopsy. But she gets to be home for the moment, at least, with her husband and her son. So yay, Desiree, welcome home. We're so glad that she gets to be home with her family. So she has an ongoing saga. Hopefully she'll let us know. But yeah, she was very appreciative of all of your thoughts and your prayers and your messages to her. She did do a real cute little message in the Facebook group. So if you want to go over to Dragonites Lair and see it, it is up there and posted, so you can see it. And we wish her continuing best of care and best of luck and happiness and peace and harmony and all of those things, and that her heart, decides to cooperate with everybody and not continue to make her not feel good. So thank you for doing that, all of you. It did make a huge difference. I told her that, we Dragonites, we're always here for each other, so we will channel our dragon strength over to her so that we can rejuvenate her dragon strength and pull her out of this little situation she's in. So thank you for doing that. Yeah, other than that, that's kind of what's been going on. I did finally get to do some painting for Halloween, so every year I try to do a Pennywise. I did a Pennywise this year, and I did a fiery skull. I showed you that they were in progress last month at the completions, and they are finished, so they will be in the completions for September, which I will be putting out soon. So yeah, we just keep barreling through fall and headed toward the holidays, and which I hope are going to be peaceful. Since Christmas is my favorite holiday, and since my birthday is right before Christmas, I work hard to get all of the headachy stuff finished for end of the year before the first week in December is over, because I want to enjoy it. And I don't want to have more complications and stress. I want to have peace so I can sit down and get my Christmas tree up and wrap packages, and and I always watch A Christmas Carol because it's my favorite one of the Christmas movies. I always watch that from December 1st to the 24th. I watch it every day. My favorite rendition is the George C. Scott, although I like all of them. So any or all is fine. All right, Dragonites. Well, I've been talking your ear off, so I'm going to let you go. Please get on over and watch the Whip Parade for the end of the Under the Sea event if you haven't already, because it's pretty awesome. And I hope all of you are having a great week. It's almost the weekend. Hang in there. All right, Dragonites. Big hugs to all of you. New subbies, thank you so much for subbing in. I really appreciate it. Welcome to the family. Tried and true subbies, I love your comments. I look forward to them all the time. Sorry, I've been not very great about getting them back because it requires a block of time and I just haven't had any, but I will get to them, don't worry. And I do read them, so just know that I'm reading them. And love all of you, and I hope that you're looking forward to the holiday. And don't forget, let me know what you're going to be for Halloween. And remember, always be a dragon. Spread your wings. Protect those you love. Have fiery passion. Stay strong, slay your fears, and always fly high, rise up, and soar. All right, Dragonites. I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.